At university, you are expected to read widely so you understand your topic, make your own notes to refer back to, and when writing, use your own words to explain the concepts and ideas of what you have read. When you are using an idea taken from your readings, it is tempting to quote, which is use the exact words that you've read. However, paraphrasing, explaining it in your own words, is where you show real understanding. There are many ways to paraphrase, and there are many videos with some good tips that can help you, like the one on the screen, which can be found in the QUT Media Warehouse. But this is only part of what is required when writing academically. You need to include information from a number of sources, the articles, the books, the technical papers and reports on similar themes. And this is called synthesis, or when ideas are gathered from multiple sources and ideas are connected across whole paragraphs. As such, you need to read critically, looking for connections as you go. So let's look at an example of a past student's writing. Here in example A, you can see there's words underlined in red, you can see some in blue. This is suggesting potential spelling mistakes and also grammar areas. What we can also see here are some errors in the referencing style that need to be addressed. For example, here in the second sentence, it refers to Table 1, but there is no in-text citation. And an in-text citation is the author, year, and the page if the information came from a specific page or two. Now, it might be that all of this information comes from the in-text citation, which is here at the end, but it's not really clear. So a better way of referencing this would be to put the in-text citation in the second sentence and not at the end of the paragraph. If we take a closer look at this in-text citation, though, it doesn't follow the APA guidelines. The initial D would need to be removed because we only use the family name of the author, and there's no year, which would be placed in here. Without knowing what type of source it is also hard to know whether or not this is a correct citation. So let's look at another example. Here in example B, there are a lot more in-text citations that we can see, and that's great, but they'd failed the CRAP test. They are not relevantly reliable, current. You can see 1992, 1988, 1990. Because they are so out of date, we don't know that the information that is contained in there is still correct. We're looking for something that's a little bit more up to date. The other thing is, when we are writing our in-text citations, we don't use italics. And here you can see that the author is Bennett, 1988, and Bennett, 1990. Now, when we have two authors that have the same family name but a different year, we write it slightly differently. Looks like this. We put Bennett, and then in brackets we put both sets of years separated by a semicolon. I've highlighted it here just to show you, but you don't need to do that either. When we look back at the paragraph, the writer has used clear and simple language to indicate that they're using the same source already referred to here. It says the same study. We know that this means that they are referring to the last study that they have referred to, and it means they can avoid repeating the citation. But I'd like to take a closer look at one sentence in particular. And it's this sentence. Now, in this sentence, the introduction of the authors at the beginning places the emphasis on them instead of the information. The information itself is very detailed, and there's numbers and there's multiple brackets. And this, combined with the author's names, can appear a little confusing or overcomplicated to the reader. So to keep it simple, I've modified a few things. What I've done here is I've taken the in-text citation and added it to the end of the sentence to make the information in the text prominent. I've removed the word width as it already states narrow. For me, that kind of indicates that the information following it is logically linked to how wide something would be. I've also taken out the word somewhat from here, as I don't feel it adds to the sentence and could potentially be discussed or explained elsewhere. I've also taken out the word remnant from the last part of the sentence for similar reasons. And what we are left with is a simplified version of the sentence which explains the ideas but is easier to read. Example C is another example of students writing. In this example, any information which is not the writer's own uses a correctly referenced in-text citation. In the third sentence here, you can see it refers to sky energy. It explains who they are, and this adds weight or strengthens the information that is presented and uses the reporting verb here, agrees that. This is a good example of synthesis. The writer has found two pieces of information that are related and is using agrees to show the positive relationship. They also analyze the writing by drawing on another piece of research. This can be seen using the words in response to these concerns. What they are saying here is that these concerns have led to this as an impact. So they are analyzing the information, they are creating a link, and they are showing a comparison by using further information. This synthesis of ideas shows that the writer clearly understands the literature and how practical changes are made to the topic area as a result. Links are also shown, which is great. The paragraph ends well with the students summarizing the information in their own words. We can see there's still things that are underlined in red and there are things in blue, but right-clicking would go through and resolve those. A good academic paragraph, therefore, shows an understanding of the topic, links with other literature that is correctly referenced, as well as an explanation in your own words of the topic and the impact or importance it has. The paragraph will use linking words and clear, uncomplicated sentences to convey an idea. Remember, it's better to write a straightforward sentence than use overcomplicated jargon and words that nobody really understands.